the coast of Tyre, ancient Phoenicia, Gentile territory. A woman hears that a Jewish teacher is passing through. She has a daughter who is suffering. She has no legal standing, no social access, no cultural claim on this man's attention. She goes anyway. She calls out, he does not answer. His disciples tell him to send her away. He says plainly that his mission is not for her people. She kneels. She says 2 words, "Lord, help me." And then he says something that has troubled readers for 2,000 years. It is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. She is the dog. Her people are the dogs. And what she does next is one of the most sophisticated negotiating moves in the entire biblical record. This is She Negotiated. Episode 4, The Dog Table. I'm your host, and this is the story of the woman who out-argued the argument that was designed to exclude her. Before we get to the masterstroke, I want to walk you through the full sequence of what happens in this encounter, because it is important to understand exactly what she is up against. This is not a single refusal. This is a triple rejection, each one harder than the last. The first rejection is silence. She calls out, he does not answer. In the social world of first-century Palestine, this is not ambiguous. Silence from a teacher in response to a request is a refusal. It is a signal that the request is not worth acknowledging. Most people stop here. The silence is the answer. She does not stop. The second rejection comes from the disciples. They ask him to send her away. She is making a scene, they say. She is crying out after them. The word used in the Greek is persistent, insistent, not going away. And the disciples want her gone. The third rejection is the most direct. He speaks to her. And what he says is a statement of mission scope. I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This is not a personal insult. It is a structural exclusion. You are not in the category of people my mission covers. And then she kneels and says 2 words, Lord, help me. And he says, the thing about the dogs now, here is where it gets interesting. Because most people, when they hear this story, focus on the insult. And I understand that the word is jarring, but I want you to focus on something else. I want you to focus on what she does next. Because what she does next is a masterclass. When someone uses a framework to exclude you, you have 2 obvious options. You can accept the framework and leave, or you can reject the framework and argue against it. She does neither. She does something far more sophisticated. She accepts the framework entirely. She steps inside it, and from inside it, she finds something that its application had not considered. Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Let me break this down for you, because every word here is doing work. She says, yes, Lord. She's not disputing the premise. She's not saying the metaphor is wrong or unfair. She is accepting it. She's saying, I understand the framework. I'm working within it. Then she extends the metaphor, dogs at the table, in a household, not wild dogs in the street, household dogs. Dogs that are already inside the domestic space. And household dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the table. Not the children's food, the crumbs. What falls? What is already abundant, what is not taken from anyone? Follow the logic. If the children are Israel and the dogs are the Gentiles, then the dogs are inside the household. They are not outside the story. They are already present. And what she is asking for, the healing of her daughter, is not the children's bread. It is a crumb. It will not diminish what Israel receives. It requires only what is already abundant. This is the crumb argument, and it is one of the most elegant negotiating moves I have ever studied. She doesn't challenge the terms. She finds the space inside the terms that the person who set them did not realize was there. But there is something even more profound happening here than a clever logical argument. She is not just making a case, she is making an appeal to who he is. She calls him Lord. She says master's table. She is placing him in the role of the master. the one whose table is abundant, the one whose household is large enough for both children and dogs. She is saying, if you are as great as I believe you are, if the table is as abundant as I believe it to be, then my request is not a burden. It is a demonstration of abundance. She is arguing to his best self, and this is the second layer of her genius. Every counterparty in a negotiation has a best self, a public version of their values, the largest and most generous vision of why they do what they do. The most powerful arguments are the ones that demonstrate that granting your request is not just consistent with the counterparty's best self, but required by it. She's saying, healing my daughter is not a compromise of your mission, it is a demonstration of it. If you are who I believe you are, then my daughter's healing is not a burden on the table. It is evidence of how abundant the table is. He does not say, you have made a clever argument. He says, great is your faith. Because what she demonstrated was not just intelligence, it was conviction. She believed the table was abundant enough, and she argued accordingly. And her daughter was healed from that very hour. I want to be honest about what this strategy requires, because it is not easy. It requires you to not take the bait. When someone reduces your complexity to a dismissive category, the human instinct is to defend yourself. To say, I am more than that. You do not have the right to speak to me that way. And you are right, you deserve better than this. But that instinct, if you follow it in the moment, is the most expensive thing you can do. It shifts the conversation from your goal to your dignity. And while your dignity matters, it does not get you what you came for. This woman stayed focused on the goal with a clarity that is almost superhuman. She did not allow her ego to manage the encounter. She allowed her objective to manage it. And the result is that she won something she had been denied 3 times. 3 times. Silence, explicit refusal, ethnic insult, and she won anyway. She is, in the estimation of many scholars, the only person in the Gospels who wins a direct argument. She did it not by being louder, not by being angrier, not by asserting her rights. She did it by being smarter and by staying focused on the goal. Here is the 5-move playbook she gives you. Move 1, stay in the room, do not leave when you are ignored. Persistence is not desperation, it is data collection. Move 2, when you receive a refusal, do not repeat the ask. Refine it. What is the logic of the refusal? Find the door inside that logic. Move 3, find the argument that is consistent with the counterparty's stated values. Do not argue against them. Argue through them. Move 4, argue to their best self. Show them that granting your request is required by who they say they are. Move 5, stay on the goal. Let your objective manage the encounter, not your ego. If you found this episode valuable, subscribe to the Bible Wealth channel, ring the notification bell, share this with someone who needs to hear it. We have more stories like this one. Women who negotiated their way through systems that were not built for them and won. New episodes every week. The Bible Wealth channel. Wealth, wisdom, power, truth.